More sea lane closures. What will disappear first across the planet? The Malacca Straits are closed to Israel because Malaysia bans ships to Israel from its waters and ports. The typical Singapore to Rotterdam sea voyage is 40% longer via the Cape compared to the Suez Canal. Europe now faces a massive rise in oil prices. Tea, coffee, wine, clothes, and other goods will be delayed because of a 4,000-mile diversion, but there is no other way as Yemen ramps up its attacks on ships going through the Red Sea to stop supplies reaching Israel. The blue line is Israel's usual shipping route. Yemen forces the yellow route. Oil and gas giant BP says it will pause shipments via the Red Sea, and 5 of the largest shipping firms also have halted operations in the vital lane. Together, these 5 companies account for 53% of the global container trade. Egypt's economy is endangered by the Houthi attacks. Egypt's Suez Evergreen shipping line is suspending the Red Sea route, and Taiwanese container shipping line Evergreen will stop accepting Israeli cargoes. However, non-Western tankers are transiting at higher than average rate in the Red Sea. Tankers carrying oil from Russia and Arab nations are moving unimpeded through the Red Sea, as experts say Yemen has shown a sophisticated ability to only pinpoint ships linked to Israel. The global supply chains deteriorate as Malaysia blocks all Israeli vessels and cargo using its ports. This map clearly shows all the maritime shipping routes and the strategic locations. The Strait of Malacca is now closed, and if Indonesia chooses to block the Makassar, Sunda, and Lombok Straits, then China, Taiwan, Vietnam, Philippines, and South Korea will have to go around Australia to reach Europe. On a side note, a reminder that the Panama Canal is still closed due to its low water level. Here's a screenshot of the ships accumulating on each side of the canal. Israel continues its outrageously illegal and anti-human bombing campaign of Gaza, killing tens of thousands of civilians who are not Hamas. While Israel claims that this is self-defense, we're defending ourselves by dropping 50,000 tons of bombs on apartment buildings and hospitals, refugee camps, and so on. The bombing continues to this day. This is straight up ethnic cleansing, and some people call it genocide. Malaysia has now not only banned Israeli flagships from docking at any of its ports, but also it won't allow any ship to dock if it has any cargo that is going to or from Israel. As Israel continues its bombing campaign of civilians in Gaza, you can imagine that the Muslim-dominated countries are just going to become more and more assertive in blocking off anything associated with Israel. On this map, the yellow line indicates the waterways of Malaysia, and the purple line is the waterways of Indonesia. This situation will continue to quickly worsen, and the world will wake up to the fact that even if the war is in the Middle East, the entire world is affected. Back in the US, the national debt has jumped 2.6 trillion in 6 months and exceeded 100,000 per citizen. The reckless federal spending is at a breaking point. Here is a fantastic visual representation of how inflation impacts everyone. In 1912, a gold standard, which is 1/20th of an ounce gold backed, $1 would buy 11 loaves of bread. In 1933, 1/20th of an ounce gold backs $4 equals 14 loaves of bread. In 1971, after the removal of gold backing, full faith and credit backs $1 equals 6 loaves. In 2023, $1 equals half a loaf. On October 27th, 2023, 1/20th of an ounce monetary gold equals 51 loaves at $1.97 each. Our limited minds cannot possibly imagine how things will unfold as the severe world decrease of all food and commodities along with hyperinflation manifests. Years ago, in the good old days, Lee and I traveled a great deal. We both consider our Tahiti cruise to be the most memorable. During one of my scuba dives, a manta ray swam right over me, just like in this picture. It felt like a big spaceship flying really closely over my head. The memory of that experience came flooding in when David Devine from Adapt 2030 posted the following pictures in one of his videos. This manta ray flies high into the air, starts its descent, and then gracefully enters back into the ocean. This is how I picture the economy will splotch. It will definitely not be an elegant landing like the one made by the manta ray. However, when I know the goal of this incarnation, the goal of this great experiment, I suffer a lot less because I have prepared myself physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Guy wrote in The Medical Mafia in 1994, "Inside of myself is the consciousness of who I am, the unique creatrix of the whole universe. It is out of love for myself that I am living this earthly experience, the incarnation that allows me to see myself in a mirror. It is out of love for myself that I experiment with suffering, war, sickness, and death. It is out of love of myself that I have created the medical mafia and all the other mafias that forces me to wake up to who I really am, the one and only creatrix of my sickness and my healing. I remember the medical mafia is a blessing. Infinite love." Let's rejoice, because the insanity we are experiencing is an illusion, which is forcing more and more people to awaken. However, we must have compassion for those who are incapable of awakening, because the mRNA injections have created a separation from the individual soul. The only way out of the illusion is through absolute non-compliance. The courageous ones have consciously chosen to get out of the illusion and will continue their evolution of consciousness on the ascending crystal spiral. I know my jail experience was a blessing because it forced me to leave Canada and what was perceived as a perfect life of a very successful dentist and a mother of 2 wonderful children. I accessed the courage within me, abandoned myself to my soul, and jumped into the complete unknown. Today, I'm able to offer guidance to those who choose life in Colombia or Ecuador. A long-term stay at Cascada Café Retiro is $120 per week. During your stay, Expand your consciousness with a 2-day Infinite Love Consciousness workshop. Who am I? And what the hell have I come to do on this earth? Learn about the miraculous Sacha Inchi nut. This oleaginous plant has a very high protein content with all the essential amino acids and fatty acids for the maximum well-being of human health. Finally, I offer reconstructive dentistry at a very affordable price. I'm guided by the teachings of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. Since February 29, 1956, the supermind has been operational on Earth as an active evolutionary power. A new phase of evolution has begun amidst the collapse of the old world. Infinite Love Consciousness is an invitation to take part in an unprecedented adventure of consciousness. Will you join us? Infinite